The Victoria Cross by Phoebe. What is the Victoria Cross? The Victoria Cross is the highest award for acts of bravery in wartime. It was introduced in 1856 by Queen Victoria and backdated to 1854 to cover the period of the Crimean War. It is possible for any serving member of the armed forces to gain this award. Lieutenant George Morby England. George was a tall and well-built man, as you can see in the picture. Why I chose George? Despite the cool name and that there was a high chance he is related to my neighbour, I think he was an extremely brave person. George was a naughty boy. He got in trouble off the police and got sent to Melbourne to do an apprenticeship, but later became a hero. George was a carpenter before joining the Australian Naval and Military Expeditionary Force for service in New Guinea, then signed up in the Australian Imperial Force. He arrived in France in early 1917. He was awarded the Armed Medal for his work near Baypeu 2 months later. He was brave enough to return to fight in World War II, where he was promoted to captain. He also survived the war before retiring near its end. George is a child. When George was a young child, he had 2 brothers, one older and one younger, and happily went to Seville Primary School, also known as Seville State School, located in Seville. The 3 boys loved their life growing up in this town. Sadly, George's sister died when she was only 6 years old. In this picture you can see a picture of Seville Primary School. These gates are now named after George in memory of him. Timeline of his life. 1889. George was born in Bagshot, Victoria. 1895. He went to Seville Primary School. 1903. He worked as a carpenter. 1905 to 1914. He was a member of the military forces. 1910. He married Jane Frances Nichols. 1915. He served in New Guinea in Australian Naval and Military Forces. 1916. Embarked for World War I. 1918. Awarded the Victoria Cross. 1919. He returned to Australia. 1926. Dissolved marriage to Jane. 1927. Married Lillian Wakeling, a widow. 1935. Appointed Permanent Guard, Shrine of Remembrance. 1939 to 1944. Served as captain in World War II. 1951. Wife Lillian dies. He remarries Myrtle Thomas. 1961. George died in Hastings, Victoria. Some facts about him. His birthday was the 18th of March, 1889. Birthplace, Australia, Victoria, Bendigo. Death date, 1st of July, 1961, at the age of 72. Service number, 5919, First World War, 1914 to 1918. Both his brothers were killed in World War I. George had 2 sons and was married 3 times. The first permanent guard appointed to the Shrine of Remembrance in Melbourne, Victoria. 250 people applied for the job. George fought in both World Wars. He was 55 when he retired from the military and 62 when his son Alex was born. He was the last person awarded the Victoria Cross in World War I. His acts of bravery. George was a really amazing man. He got his award in Mount Brehan for leading his platoon and in rushing a post and capturing 9 machine guns. His platoon killed 42 Germans who had shown strong opposition. Later, after his company had suffered severe casualties and many officers had fallen, he took control of the situation once again. Rallied his men under the intense fire and led them forward. He rushed another fortification and overcome serious resistance twice more that day. He displayed great courage and leadership in the capture of the enemy posts and taking of 62 prisoners. His son Alex said that he did not speak of this day. He did not like to talk about his bravery, and the little he did say was to talk of the many mates that had died that day. Here are some images of George to show what he looked like. Although George had a Victoria Cross Award, he also had many others, as you can see in the picture. His medals were sold in 2008 for $468,000, and his Victoria Cross was donated to the Australian War Memorial. I would like to have 1 minute of silence for those who we have lost. Please bow your head. Thank you for listening to this presentation. I hope next time you see the name George Morby Ingram, it will allow you to appreciate his life and how much he gave to us as Australians.